Hello and welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Daily Triple. That's your no shit gaming news video. 3 news stories in one video with zero faff. Hitman 3 is the first major game of 2021 and it launches tomorrow on pretty much everything. Rather than being a full standalone release in its own right, this game is instead more of a compilation of all 3 games in the Hitman reboot series if you already own the previous 2. Hitman, for those who are unaware, is a stealth game series all about killing targets in the most creative ways and wearing different disguises while you do it. This trilogy has downplayed many of the narrative aspects in favour of offering even more creative murder methods and sandbox environments. With Hitman 3, you'll be able to access all locations from this trilogy in one place if you already bought the past games, which is pretty brilliant. Basically, all Hitman 1 and 2 content is DLC in Hitman 3 as access passes. The only problem is that for PC players, Hitman 2 is currently off the table due to some behind-the-scenes issues. In a recent blog post, developer IO Interactive gave a pre-launch guide to the game and explains that if you own the other Hitman games, your progress will be carried over and you'll be able to replay the same environments. Unfortunately, if you own Hitman 2 on Steam, you won't be able to access the game through Hitman 3 since it's a timed exclusive to the Epic Game Store and Hitman 2 isn't on that platform. It's particularly shitty that all this became known just a matter of days before launch, so many people won't even know. But hold on, before you get your torches and pitchforks and go after Epic, it doesn't actually look like they've caused the problem, but we'll get to that in a moment. In a prior blog post in August, IO said that progress and locations would be shared across Steam and Epic, but something between then and now has evidently changed. IO originally said in this week's blog post, which appears to have been amended, "We've done everything possible to make this process smooth and player friendly. However, due to various circumstances out of our control, we want to acknowledge that the process is different to our plans for PC players." As it stands, that's a pretty shitty situation that undermines the key selling point of Hitman 3, but as I said earlier, it doesn't look like it's actually Epic's fault, and is most likely due to publisher disagreements. IO Interactive was owned by Square Enix until 2017. The first Hitman reboot from 2016 was, therefore, published by Square Enix. Hitman 2 was then published by Warner Bros., who are a notorious pain in the arse about absolutely everything. And finally, Hitman 3 is being self-published by IO. IO clearly have a working relationship with Epic because Hitman 3 is launching exclusively on the platform and Hitman 1 Game of the Year Edition is already on there. Something has gone wrong along the way with Hitman 2 and I'd bet that's Warner Bros doing, but that's just my conjecture and I have no proof, don't go telling anyone off. However, while the situation may seem pretty shitty for Hitman fans, IO is promising to resolve the situation so you definitely won't have to buy the game again if you already own it on PC. IO posted a statement on Twitter saying, "We are continuing to work on a solution with our partners to allow PC players who own Hitman 1 or 2 to import locations from those games into Hitman 3 at no additional cost. We guarantee that players will not need to repurchase the games. Until we roll that out in the coming weeks, the Hitman 1 Game of the Year Access Pass will be free to own for all PC players who pre-purchase or purchase Hitman 3 within the first 10 days after release. We are so excited for you to enjoy the full World of Assassination experience. Thank you, IO Interactive." Epic Games also retweeted that statement in support of IO. Now, that's not a perfect solution, but to be fair to them, it is great to see IO committed and explicitly guaranteeing in great big bold letters that you will not have to rebuy the game. It's unclear when Hitman 2 will be made available on Epic to those who already bought it on Steam, but in the meantime you'll have all of Hitman 3 to play through, plus if you own Hitman 1 or buy it within the first 10 days, you'll get Hitman 1 locations to work through too. Your options for Hitman 2 are basically wait until IO can sort something out to allow the game on Epic, or wait like a year until Hitman 3 comes to Steam. Either way, you'll be waiting for a bit, but IO have guaranteed it in black and white, so if they renege on that, you can give them all hell. Alternatively, if you're playing on console, you won't have any of these problems because it's all within the same ecosystem. If you have Hitman 1 and 2 on PlayStation, they'll be in Hitman 3 no problem, same with on Xbox, and a next-gen upgrade is offered for free for both platforms. The whole situation is a bit complicated, but that's basically it in a nutshell. Yes, it would have all been fine if IO hadn't gone exclusive with Epic, so you could still blame Epic anyway, but at least both parties are working to sort this out, and again, I'm pretty sure this is just Warner being dicks like they usually are. And next up, Ninja Theory became a bit of a household name in the gaming space when it released Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Since then, the studio has been hard at work on its sequel, but also another game known only as Project Mara. It was announced in January last year, but we still don't really know much about the game. This title is a bit more experimental than Hellblade, and once again focuses on mental health, but this time in the real world. built. In a recent dev diary called the Dreadnought Diaries, Tamim Antoniades, founder and chief creative at Ninja Theory, explained how they were creating the apartment the game takes place in. The team at Ninja Theory visited a real apartment which will be recreated one-to-one in-game with some of the highest fidelity I have ever seen. That's the main reason I'm talking about it in this segment. It's not controversial and it's not particularly newsy, I just think it's seriously impressive and you should all check it out. Capturing the environment to such a high degree of detail will make the game seem as realistic as possible, meaning that when things do go a bit bizarre and the mental terror starts to show itself, it's going to be even more extreme. The level of detail the team has been able to achieve here is absolutely insane, and that's partially because this project is smaller in scope than something like Hellblade. Ninja Theory already impressed the world with what they were able to achieve with Hellblade by making a AAA looking game on an indie budget. Since the studio was acquired by Microsoft, they now have more money to play with, and much of that will be going into Hellblade 2, but what they're doing with Project Mara kind of has me more interested. Antoniades says that this is not going to be like a game or even a film, but something else entirely, which to be fair is something that does get thrown around a lot. I'm looking at you, Kojima. In the announcement teaser, he said it will be based heavily on research, interviews, and first-hand accounts to recreate the horrors of the mind as accurately and believably as possible. Clearly, based on this new video, they've got pretty damn close to making the environment as believable as possible, which will only make the horror even more intense. Moving forward, Hellblade 2 seems to be the most quote-unquote normal game in development at Ninja Theory, and that says something. Even though I played it a bit later, the original Hellblade from 2017 is easily my favourite game from that year for being so unlike anything else and doing something so different and doing it pretty damn well. The sequel will most likely continue that unique experience, but everything else going on at Ninja Theory seems even more ambitious and creative. However, with such creative enterprises comes a bit of a barrier to entry. Many consumers will not fully understand or necessarily feel comfortable with Project Mara. Just because it's unique and ambitious doesn't automatically mean it's good. I'm excited to play the game, or whatever it is, and see how the rest of the world reacts because it's probably going to be pretty fucking weird. It may even be really crap, but at the very least it's going to look damn gorgeous. Just look at the dust on that floor. I never knew dust could be so tantalizing. And finally, Everspace 2 has just moved into early access on Steam. The first game was developed and published by Rockfish Games in 2017 on PC, and then was released throughout 2019 on consoles. It's a roguelike space flight simulator and easily has some of the very best flight controls I've ever experienced. You acquire different weapons and upgrades as you travel across space as a clone, and every time you die, a new clone takes on your memories and gets sent out after you. The sequel basically just looks like a bigger and better version of everything the first game had to offer, and I for one absolutely cannot wait. The full game is now set to release in 2022, but for now the early access version will have to do for the next 12 to 18 months. According to the devs, the early access version has full English voice acting for the first 12 hours, but has at least 25 hours worth of content to work through. It will also feature core gameplay mechanics of space combat, exploration, mining, puzzle solving, traveling, trading, itemization, crafting, ship customization, player and companion perks, as well as 5 different player ship subclasses. As a newcomer to the PC space, this may be my first outing into Steam Early Access. If you want to do the same, there is a link to do so in the description. We're not sponsored or anything, I just really like the first game. And that's it for today. If you enjoyed this no shit format, go ahead and give the video a like to give it a boost, hit subscribe and the bell if you want to stay up to date on all future installments, toss a coin to your YouTuber over at patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. I've been Henry Cooper, that's all for today, bye for now.